Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you my 2019 sketchbook. So I'm going to be doing a flip through tour of my sketchbook from last year that is finally completed. Yay! But I thought it might be fun to kind of give you a commentary version. I know I've done this on previous sketchbook flip tours, so you can always look back on my channel. There are some other ones here. I'm also going to put up a flip version that doesn't have any commentary, so if you don't want to hear me rambling or listen to some of the backstory of things, there will be just a music only version of this flip through as well. So a couple of little things to note before I dive in. This is the Moleskine Art Plus sketchbook. This is my favorite sketchbook to work in, just for illustration stuff, mixed media stuff, playing around with things. These are my go-to. I definitely have one. I have at least one every year. That said, I have this one and I always work in several other things at one time. So just because I have this one done does not mean that I have other ones on the side. So I usually have other sketchbooks of varying sizes. I have art journals that I work in. Along with that as well, my sketchbooks are very different from my art journals. My art journals are like completed pieces of artwork that I spend hours and hours and hours into. Really, it is kind of more like finished artwork. My sketchbooks are places where I play. So this is where I am experimenting with materials, I'm sketching out ideas. You'll see that this is really just kind of play zone, no judgment, just every artist needs a sketchbook to just dump stuff into, and this is what that is for me. So yeah, I started this one in January of 2019. Literally, I remember working on this like the week of the new year and finished it up in December. It's nice to get this one done and in the books. I love having a shelf of Moleskines like this. It's very fun. One other quick note before I open it up, there might be some pages covered by either post-its or there'll be like a paper clip kind of clipping things together. Those are just pages that I don't really want to show on camera, so I have covered them. Same with if you see any like little quick jump cuts, something that I just don't want to show on camera here on YouTube. But beyond that, let's go ahead and dive in. So on the cover, I always love putting some of my own stickers. This was the Ghost sticker set that I had in my Etsy shop for a while. This was from Inktober, I think 2 years ago. I think these were end of 2018, which would make sense if I started this in 2019 that I would have had these stickers made. I did have these in my shop. They have been since sold out. I don't think I'll be restocking this version, but I think I'm working on ordering a holographic version of these stickers, and hopefully those will be in my Etsy shop at some point soon. So I always like to keep my covers really simple. Meanwhile, on the inside, it is absolute chaos. I have a combination of some of my own stickers, my ghost stickers in various forms. I had a clear label version made. My logo, here's just another regular one. This is actually in this sketchbook, so you'll see that. Lots of Art Snack stickers, some ones from Holly up here. If I can find links of people, I will leave them in the description. These are from Holly, which love her work. Her stuff is amazing. Someone sent me this. This is from my tarot collection. This is from Kraken Dice. They always send you a big sticker whenever you buy dice from them. Sticker from the Madonna Inn. My in-laws bought me those really bitchin' goblets, so that's what that's from. So just a whole bunch of random stuff in there. So I believe this was potentially the April Art Challenge, or when I was starting to play around with it. I always work out of order, so sometimes I'll start something somewhere, like maybe I'll start the beginning of year and a couple pages in, and then I'll come back and fill things in. But this was a technique that I was really into around the April Art Challenge. You'll see a lot more of that where I'm playing with watercolor and gouache and like negative space. So I think I was starting to experiment with that here. Here's a weird rooster. I did this up in Big Bear, and I think this was the first thing that I did in this sketchbook. So I had done this like really detailed rooster head and then just didn't want to do the rest of the body. So that's where that went. This is just a random mixed media page. I think this was something I was working on for a tarot card as part of my tarot card project, and didn't like the direction she was headed and just kind of stuck her in here, and she has since been transformed in this weird mixed media page. This is a personal page I'm keeping covered. Here we go, more of that watercolor and negative space action with gouache. Really, really fun technique. And if you're on my Patreon, if you're at a particular tier, I have monthly downloads. This was something that I also offered as a digital download for my patrons. Random mixed media page. Sometimes I just dump extra stuff in or drawings and stuff from other projects. So like this was from the Witches zine from a long time ago. I just had saved the sketches and just stuck them in there. If I have random scraps, I'll just stick stuff in. Sometimes I'll come back and paint stuff on top of this, sometimes I don't. My ring light really hates this page because of the gold foil, but I was playing around here. Again, I think this was a potential tarot card idea, and then it just kind of turned into its own thing. And then I had leftover gold foil, so I added that in. Pretty sure this was from the January 2019 Arts Next video. You can see where I'm playing around with the particular watercolors that I had gotten and kind of layering colors together. Again, I will leave links to those videos in the description. You can also, I have a whole playlist as seen on here on the channel, and I try to get all the Arts Next videos in there as well. So that's where you can find that. But you're gonna see this a lot where I'm testing the materials and trying to come up with a concept for those videos. So it's kind of fun if you follow their channel and you watch those videos to kind of see where things have started. There's a lot of that in here. This was the start of the April Art Challenge, and I will definitely say that 2019, really, I did not make a lot of art that year in comparison to previous years, and that was because I was pregnant, so I was dealing with that and just, you know, being tired all the time, and I had really bad morning sickness in the beginning. So the April Art Challenge came at a really good time because I was starting to feel a little bit better, and so I was making more art. But yeah, I think overall 2019, I just did not make like the volume of art that I typically do, but this was definitely April Art Challenge. I specifically remember this. I had done one sketch of it and I wasn't sure how I was gonna render it, so I transferred it to the other side to just kind of play with paint and stuff. Actually, this is the original sketch because you can see where I was playing underneath and then I kind of painted over it, and then this became the final with the ink, which is really cool. I actually like kind of having two versions like this. I think this is something I want to play around with more. I also really liked this illustration as well because there's like little like rat bodies and bones and stuff in there. That's kind of fun. This was April Art Challenge. This was just random me playing around. Again, I was pregnant and had a lot of hip pain, so I started kind of pulling a lot of anatomical illustrations and references to kind of just study and play with while sitting on the couch or in bed because I felt so terrible. This was April Art Challenge, just playing around. I think that the prompt here was spicy, so I think rather than doing like one specific illustration, I just kind of wanted to play around and had this concept of ghost pepper sauce, so that's that. This was, I believe, for a Marabou video. I was doing swatches, and I think that's in that video, so that's over on their channel, or it's going to be on the As Seen On playlist here on my channel. I don't think this was April Art Challenge. I have no idea what this was. I think this was just me playing around. Again, really hot on the whole negative space thing with watercolor. Was really, really into that. And this guy I got turned into a sticker. So you can see, here's a sticker in the front. More April Art Challenge. Can't remember what any of the prompts are for this, but I really like this little faux washi tape look. That was really fun to paint. Random swatches. This was for the Colorase pencils, which I'm actually not a big fan of. I thought I was gonna like them, but I don't. I believe this was April Art Challenge, also April Art Challenge. This was again one of those things where I had a lot of leftover media, so I just kind of stuck it in there, doodled and drew stuff on top, and that's what came out of that. Pretty sure this is all April Art Challenge, minus this. I think this was just random sketches and just kind of filling things in with paint. And I do this a lot where maybe I have like other little sketches and I just come in and cover it with paint. This was from the April Art Challenge, but I had the center lurch was actually from something else. I think he was from an Arts Next video from the year prior. So I wanted to turn him into like a triple lurch thing happening there. So if you're new to the channel, this is one of my pugs in cartoon form. More April Art Challenge. I actually really like the way that this looks. It's kind of gross. I like it. Tom York. Love, love. More April Art Challenge sketches. I also really liked this too. And I feel like I should do more of this, of just kind of noting what my color palette was for things. And I was playing around with gouache a lot here, of just really watering down gouache. So I believe he's all done in gouache. And I think this is as well. This is all gouache as well. Random hand studies. I like to do this a lot where I'll just pick a subject and repetitively draw it, just kind of practicing. This was from a Art Snacks box. I think this is March, I believe. Kind of fun. I had a really good time with that. The background took me forever, but it looks good. April Art Challenge. This is the famous wallpaper from Royal Tenenbaums. I love this. And I love that it's like actually, it's not the center of my sketchbook, but for some reason it just opens up really well. And this was just done with ink and a Posca paint pen. And if you're on my Patreon, this was a December digital download. More April Art Challenge, and then just playing around with some different like leaf prints here. Here's that negative space thing happening again. I think I filmed this for something. This might be in an old vlog, I think. I think this is in a vlog. I'm not sure. More April Art Challenge. This is like a death before a decaf sort of thing here. A little spooky present, a little cocktail. I think this is watercolor. I like how that turned out. More random pages. This was definitely April Art Challenge, but it was also me starting to practice for a tarot card. I was playing around for the King of Cups. This was just a random kind of girl that came about. I believe I did a live stream of her on Instagram and was covering up some things and doing other things, and that's how she came about. This page is totally random. This was me dealing with a ghost print of a marker from the other side, and that's just kind of what happened. This other page was just kind of random. It was a place for me to like dump my leftover black ink, and I liked these little illustrated pumpkins. This was also something that I had done for an Art Snacks video, and I kind of wanted to see what they looked like as like a full page pattern, but I just kind of got burned out and stopped working on it, so that's what happened with that. But I do like this. Yeah, I'm usually pretty hit or miss with using alcohol markers in my sketchbooks, but I ended up really liking this kind of weird ghost print overlapping thing happening here. And then I think this was ink that I had put on top. Or no, I think it's actually a water-based pen or water-soluble pen that I did on top and then just kind of bled it out with a water brush. I actually really like that. It looks cool. Bunch of random studies. This was definitely while I was pregnant. Hello, and yes, my back freaking kills. Little eyeball study. I actually like the way that this turned out. You can tell I actually put some time into that. You can tell when I actually like sit down and my inner art school comes out. More hand studies. I actually really love drawing hands. It's one of my favorite subjects. Weird little bug guy. He was something that I was working on for an art journal page. Here's just a big mixed media spread. This is from a Art Snacks video. You can watch the whole step-by-step on that. This was while watching Suspiria, the newer one. This is something I like to do a lot, as I'll just watch a movie and I will sketch whatever I see on the screen or the kind of vibe or things that I see. Like this was a lot in the tile floors and stuff, and I really liked this pattern and this look. The font from the movie, of course, writing down quotes. Some of the girls, the outfits. Yeah, I really like this kind of thing. And I'll quickly sketch everything with just a colored pencil, and I usually come back in with ink or watercolor, and then I'll fan everything out. And I think some of the stuff is mermaid marker, like this purple color is definitely mermaid marker, and then a red Stabilo pen. This was just a random illustration. I remember this was in the summer because I did her little bow, her little hair thing, kind of like 4th of July style. And over here is actually a mural color chart. This is for the mural that I did in my son's room. There's more of that on Patreon, kind of like the behind the scenes. And I have a whole mural behind the scenes coming. I don't know if that's going to be on YouTube or a Patreon exclusive. I'm not sure. But I documented the entire process of doing a giant paint by numbers landscape mural. It's epic. It's still not done, but it looks good, even just unfinished. So I'm sure at some point I'll put that video together. We'll see. Some random little studies, a little fly study. Again, this was something that would end up in a art journal spread that I'm currently working on. It's close to being done. Actually, did I finish it? I might have finished it. If I finished it, I will put a link in the description. But this is where the original illustration for it came. And just some rats, studying some rats over there. No big deal. This is random playing of materials. I had gotten the Art Snacks travel box, so this was me playing with those materials all together. Really fun. This is part of the Meds 100 Heads challenge, so I started that at some point. I'm still working on it, but it's kind of fun to just reference that Pinterest board, and I'll just look at heads and kind of draw some and get it going. Again, you can see my art school creeping out. This is definitely not like my usual vibe, but it's got more of a realism kind of thing happening. But I actually really like the way that this looks. He's my favorite. Doing the sort of like leather texture on the hat was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. And I sketched all of this just in colored pencil so that there's kind of no turning back. It's kind of less pressure when you're just using a colored pencil because then you're not erasing and overcorrecting. More heads from the head challenge. I like kind of going through, because there's a Pinterest board of reference images, I like going through and finding heads that kind of look similar and kind of grouping them together so they kind of have like more of a vibe. And I also liked integrating different colors, so I would like do this in colored pencil, all the shading and original drawing, then I would come in and add some color around it, either with a mermaid marker or just some watercolor. More heads. This was just, I think I was using something to make swatches, and then it just became a random thing here. And this little girl down here at the bottom, I like her a lot. She's got weird eyeballs, but it's still pretty cool. So this is me working on the baby name announcement cards when I was pregnant before I gave birth to Roman in August. This was actually an idea that I gotten from someone else. A friend of ours a couple years ago commissioned me to create these cards that basically announced what their baby's name was. So every family member, or like immediate family member, had one, and so when the baby was born they were all able to open it, and then it was like a little piece of artwork that they could save, but it also like revealed what the baby's name was. So this was an idea that I definitely wanted to do. And in Roman's nursery, I've actually done a whole like kind of wilderness Wes Anderson kind of theme, I guess. It's very like, I don't know, like going camping meets Wes Anderson is kind of the vibe in his room. So I wanted to kind of do something similar in the name announcement cards. So you can see just kind of my preliminary sketches, like I was kind of playing with some different ideas and like the placement of the name and what sort of little elements. There's a whole behind the scenes video of this on Patreon. So everything is there, the full step-by-step, how I planned it out. Everything is in that video there. More samples of that. It's kind of explained in that video. Some random sketches. This was after I had watched Midsummer, which was such a great creepy, scary movie. It was amazing. But they had really great like designs and patterns and all the clothing, so I kind of was sketching and drawing some inspiration from that, including like the color palette a little bit here, so that's what I was playing around with. This was just a random ugly pencil sketch and some leftover ink. Now we're getting into Inktober of 2019, which I was following Mab Graves' prompts, which I kind of just quickly jotted down here. There's more kind of behind the scenes on that as well on Patreon, kind of talking about how I get prepped for Inktober and made this and all that stuff. Also in that video is a full behind the scenes of the first prompt, or no, the third prompt technically, which was Bat. So there's a whole step-by-step of that, as well as inking tips, because with this Inktober I did most of it with just a paintbrush dipped in liquid ink. So there's a whole behind the scenes of tips to do that and kind of how I got myself started. This was a Med 100 head thing. This was just a random doodle sketch that I think I turned into an Inktober thing, but was really just a little leftover media. This is that wonderful muted pink color from the Liquitex ink collection. Love, love, love. Here's some Inktober stuff happening. Again, this is all done with a detail paintbrush and liquid ink. And a bunch of these I have turned into a sticker set that I hope to get in my Etsy shop at some point, and I've just been slowly like accumulating them. So the ones that are part of the set, I've actually gone back in and stuck the sticker in. So I got this big catacombs one here, turned into a sticker. So there's the original, and there's the little sticker, which is really fun. It's just like a little die cut of it. It turned out pretty good. I'm happy with that. More Inktober here. I really like this guy, how he turned out. This was actually the first year too that I had a bottle of gray ink as well, and so I was doing a lot of the shading with just some gray ink after doing a lot of the black, and I really liked it. And I got him turned into a sticker as well, so he's part of that set. This was just some random like ghosting that was happening from me transferring other designs onto stuff from tarot card stuff and other sketches and drawings. You can see where I was playing with tarot card ideas as well. I have since moved all of my tarot stuff out of my sketchbooks and into its own sketchbook, so that's kind of its own thing now. More Inktober stuff. Again, I've turned her into a sticker. This was so funny. This was not one that I was going to turn into a sticker, but James is like obsessed with this one. This is like his favorite thing that I had done from Inktober. So yeah, I got her made into a sticker. So that was really just because of James. And she got into the sticker pack because of James. So you have him to thank for that. This was another one from Inktober. Thank goodness for Inktober. I mean, like that really helped me fill this puppy up. More Inktober here, and we have kind of a group of these creepy girls sharing eyeballs, which is really fun. And I got them made into a sticker. So you can see the sticker is up here at the top. And then we have this witch girl, and she's actually one of my favorite things in this sketchbook. I just really like the way that she looked, and I really drew her with the thought that I was going to turn her into a sticker anyways. And there she is as a sticker, and it's absolutely one of my favorites. I'm really obsessed. So quite pleased with the way that that turned out. The detailing on that just took me forever, but I love her hair. It's a little bit different than how I usually do kind of line work hair like this. And yeah, that's one of my favorites. I love her as a sticker. It's really hard for me not to just keep all the stickers to myself. More Inktober. This is some tarot card study here, playing with some ideas, jotting down some things, kind of trying to come up with kind of the general format of the card. This was Inktober, but it's also one of my Bun stencils. So I have a couple different sets of stencils with Stencil Girl, so you can actually get this yourself if you want. So I just stenciled it on there with some paint and then did a white gel pen on top, and it looks pretty cool. More tarot card action here. This is the sun that I'm currently working on, but I did the original sketch and outline here in my sketchbook. More tarot card action happening here. I've since finished this card, and I've shared that on my Instagram, so you can look at that there. This was just random filling in of things, dealing with bleed through. So I had done something on the other page, which you'll see in a moment here, and then had this kind of random space, so I just kind of did some random pencil sketching in there. More randomness. I think I was starting to do more heads from Med's 100 Head Challenge, and then just it snowballed into its own thing. I think I had also gotten some new watercolor, so I think I was playing with some new watercolor on this as well, or maybe a new pen. I'm pretty sure I was experimenting with something new here. It's kind of a crazy page, but I do like the way it looks. This was just me filling in space. I think I had covered up what was on here previously, and then just started doing little individual things with white gouache on here. This is actually in a Patreon vlog, so you can actually see me working on that there. Oh, my white balance does not like this page, but this is from Art Snacks. This was coming up with the idea for the December 2019 Art Snacks box. So it was the little snow globe action here, but you can see me playing with some of the materials underneath, coming up with the sketch. And then I always list out what the full like step-by-step is, so that I know like when I'm filming the video and making the master artwork. You can see here I am. It ended up being a greeting card. You can see me playing with flaps open, solid base, coming up with what was going to be cut out and what wasn't. Random stuff on this page, just playing around with some heads. I did some little marker blobs and then turned them into faces and heads. And then this was the transfer that I used to take that sketch onto the tarot card. My Midsummer ticket. Can you tell I liked that movie or what? This was from the October Art Snacks box. This was me coming up with the idea of what I was going to do. So this is the original concept sketch there. I shared this on Instagram as well. Random page. This was inspired by Midsummer. They had these really beautiful like flower crowns and their outfits and stuff. And then I had just random little pieces of ephemera that I kind of just stuck in there. This was a random page. I had some leftover ephemera and then just turned it into Crazy Ghost Town. Just really random. The back here gets really random. This was like a cover-up / swatches. This was coming up for that other Art Snacks video that's up in the front of this sketchbook with the paper cranes. And then some really ugly swatches in the back. My last page is always just ugly swatches of crap. Not that exciting. So there you have it, guys. That is my 2019 sketchbook tour. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy. And I will also have a just music only flip through as well up in case you want to watch that instead. I will try to put as many links as possible in the description box. That will all be there for you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!